Hey everyone, AmberFrmThVault here. Welcome to a brand new Animal Crossing New Horizons Island tour. I sigh because I have been working on this for so long, and this is it. I'm about to show you my brand new island. I've been visiting so many islands, and if you haven't heard me say how inspired I have been to change my own island based on what I've seen from other people, oh my gosh, I have been so inspired. I want to change my island completely, and well, I went and did it. So here's the thing. I'm about to show it to you, but I'm also about to show you how I decorated for Halloween. Now, I do want to say that Halloween is not my favorite holiday. A lot of people get super into Halloween. They are those spooktacular type of people. I love Halloween, but not like I love the Christmas season. That is my holiday. I am all about the Christmas. So I did do maybe not as much as some people did. Don't expect to see like the greatest island ever, but I did want to show you what I did to Hope Cove here during the spooky season. So first thing we're going to do is we're actually going to go ahead and see the new Hope Cove flag. This is going to be our new flag here. It used to just be an island and it said Hope on it, but now we have a lovely shark. This was a tank top I had sitting in my store and I liked it. Yeah, I liked the tank top from Mabel's sister, so I decided to make it the flag. It was fun. I just like it. So this is our new entrance into the island, and I do want to just point out real quick that I am time traveling. You can see there the time, 7:05 on October 31st. Obviously, it's not October 31st because you're not watching this on October 31st. I do go ahead and time travel. I did time travel for this to make it because I'll be honest, I wasn't a huge fan of the fact that Animal Crossing kept a lot of the things that we would want to decorate our islands with until Halloween Day. Like, what was that about? Like, time traveling made sense in this case. I'm not against time traveling. If you are, I just think that everyone should play the game how they want to play the game, and it's fine for everyone to enjoy it the way they want to. So throughout this time, because of that, we are going to have different villagers running up to us and asking us for candy, but I did want to go ahead and show it to you during its most spectacular day. One of the reasons I held off this video for so long, and one of the reasons you're seeing this right before Halloween, is because I didn't want to spoil exactly what happened here right before Halloween. So we'll go ahead and give her some candy here. Of course, Kat is dressed very adorable right now. I've got my mage's outfit on. So I've got all these items already, but you'll definitely pick them up as you go around. It's a lot of fun though. So I've already done a lot of the trick-or-treating. I will say you need a lot of candy, but honestly once you get all the items it's not that much. So it's not too bad. But before we get going here, let me show you the map. I don't know if you guys remember what my map used to look like, but it was very different. You're going to notice something right away. There are a lot of residents. We're going to go ahead and visit every single resident's house. I can't promise you there are no roaches in their house. I'll explain why later. We're going to go ahead and visit every resident's house, though. Of course, me and Sharky are still here. Sharky, of course, being my secondary character for, whatever I need him for. Mostly storage, but I did want to show you the map there. There have been some massive changes. So of course you can't move the plaza, so the plaza's still here as it always has been. But as we come into the plaza, if I remember right, when you first came into that plaza before, you had a choice of going left or right, but it was pretty immediately. Right now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and stick to the left, just because I feel like it flows a little bit better if we continue to the left. But you'll notice we're kind of cut off here by this little platform, or I should say this raised plot of land. And I guess it's technically like a plateau or something, but it feels weird because I built it and I know where it came from. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and visit just kind of our area here. This is an extension of the plaza. I did go ahead and use a custom flooring here that looks similar to the plaza. It's the one I picked because this one has like a little piece that's missing. You can see there's a tiny white dot here. That tiny white dot allows this to be turned into the circle. It allows it to kind of be moved into a circular pattern if you need it to be. I didn't need it for this. Here, I'll try to get it like as close as I can. So it's as close as I can to the plus sign right now. I did want that though, that option, if I ever wanted to expand this out later on. So that's why I went ahead and went with this one. I really like the way it turned out, and I added a lot of the manhole covers just because I think they're so pretty. I saw that on a lot of the islands that I've been doing for the Dream Islands. Absolutely loved them. But I did move all of my shops to be more central before I had them really spread out, and I haven't really been enjoying having them spread out. I really liked having them more together. So we're gonna head and put the, of course, Nook's cranny is right here with its little pumpkins. I just love it. And I love the idea of having waterfalls everywhere because I'm a huge waterfall fan. We'll go up top there in just a second, but that is right behind Nook's cranny. Just gives it a nice little visual. So if we were hanging out, you know, going shopping, I like the little waterfall in the background. And of course I've got lots of spooky jack-o'-lanterns everywhere. What we're going to do next, though, is we're going to go up my hidden staircase. I wanted to hide this staircase because I have so many staircases on the island. I have the max, which I believe is 8. So I wanted to go ahead and kind of hide them around. Boom! I wanted to go ahead and hide them around as we were doing this, just so that we could kind of see not so much of the red. I like the red color, don't get me wrong, but it does get to be a little too much after a while. Now, one thing you'll notice is if I shut up and we listen, there is music in the background that isn't just the games, and that is because I did hide record players throughout the island. Now, right now I've got KK Dirge playing, or Dirge, I'm not entirely sure how you pronounce anything in the world, but that's because I wanted the island to have kind of a spooky feel. Right now that's preventing us from coming over here unless I move the skeleton, but I wanted to go ahead and show you I've just got a lot of stuff here. What I did though is I just put flowers everywhere in this area, so I'd never had to worry about anything spawning in here. During truffle, or I should say during mushroom season, we will have truffles spawning in here, and then we will also have fossils potentially spawning in here. So there's only one little area here that doesn't have a flower, and it's visible. I wanted to go ahead and make sure that everything on my island was visible. I know by now most players probably aren't picking up fossils anymore because their fossils are done, but I'm still picking them up because I like the money. So I'm still trying to become a better billionaire. I'm only a 3 million or a 3 billionaire. Yeah, I only have 3 million bells. That's what I'm trying to say. So here's my little sewing area. I was trying to make the shop look a little bit more interesting. Just trying to give it like some different stuff around here. So we've got the spinning wheel, of course, the old sewing machines. I went ahead and threw just some random clothing that I had doubles of that I didn't realize I had doubles of until I was going through my clothes and I was like, wait a minute, I bought 2 of that jacket or 2 of that parka. So I went ahead and stuck an extra one out here. That way I could just kind of have some stuff to show off. And I really like the way the mannequins look in the showing off. I think it's kind of cute. And you'll notice the theme, these are the benches I use for the entire island. I really like that look, that whole like ironwood set look. I really like that. So you'll see that a lot. I have a lot of the spooky skeletons because I really like that they put their arms up. Alright, so we're going to come down here. You'll see my first spoopy items. And then you'll also see in there, I've hidden some of the different costumes and stuff around the island. Not a lot, but I did kind of think it was fun to do that. I saw some people doing that with some custom patterns, which I thought was really cool. But of course, it wouldn't be a spooky holiday without a spooky monster. So we had to have a monster on our island. Ah! Sorry, I love it. And I also had too many things in my storage here. So what I did is around the island, I just stuck random things that I had in my storage I didn't have room for. So you'll see lots of nets and lots of shovels and things that I just don't have enough room for. You'll notice that I've stuck a lot of random things around the island. So as we go around the island here, you're going to see the first thing we have here is a gym. Now, I said that we had a lot of random new residents. We're down here by the gym. This is just one of the resident houses I used. So one of the reasons I did this is because I wanted to have more buildings. And especially with all this beach space, it feels like there's so much empty space on my island, especially now that I've done all of this landscaping and all of this terraforming. So I really wanted to build something that felt like it would belong on the island,
but it would be kind of a community building. So I'm never really playing these extra characters. I'm not using them to get things. You know, a lot of people use their secondary characters to go and, you know, take up extra bottles or buy extra candy or whatever. I haven't been doing that. I'm mostly just using them so that I can have the places, because I just like having new places to do things. And if you've seen any of my other videos where I talk about how I love that other people have built like gyms and stuff, but they're always outside because the game doesn't allow us to put up walls. This solved that problem for me. So now I just have, yes, I have like 7 users on my Switch, but I love the idea of being able to have like a gym where I can just come and hang out and play music and maybe just kind of do something different. I didn't bring any music with me though, I'm realizing. Just kind of do something a little bit different, have like a different look. And I know that in reality, it's not like this is really anything we can really do. It's not like I can actually come to the gym and pump iron. But I love the idea of having a gym on my island. It's just so much fun. There's a lot of things I'd like to add in here later on too, and you can, because of course with a secondary character, or in my case a 5th character, you can add different things. You can add different rooms. Then maybe we can have like a weight room. We can have, you know, we can have like a resistance room. We can have a room that's all balls, you know, whatever we want. So I really like that idea. Also, there's nothing in here right now, but I would like to fill this eventually full of like different sports stuff. Right now, I just have them on the wall, and my goal was to make it like, oh, look, there's jerseys on the wall because it's a big old gym. I don't know. My gym used to have like frame jerseys, but there's no frame jerseys in the game, so. But that's my first building that's like a little bit different. So again, not something that normally we can do, and something you can normally put like on the island if you want, like outside, but it takes up a lot of room and a lot of space. So you'll notice that we come right back here, but we're not going to continue off to the right just yet. I just wanted to show you how this links back up. So we're going to go ahead and continue to the left. We're going to stay going that way just because I think that it makes sense for us to come right around back to the right as we leave. But before we continue there, let's go ahead and go up that set of stairs that we saw before. And that will actually lead us to some other buildings. There's Jack. So we're going to go to the right first just to kind of take a peek over here. We have a nice little sitting area. You'll notice I really went nuts with flowers and trees. That's because I really wanted my island to feel like nature-y in the way I like my island to feel. I'm all about having like a back to nature island. And honestly, I never pick all my flowers. I never harvest all my trees. I have so much stuff on my island at this point. I've been a 5-star island forever. I don't need access to that cherry tree. If I'm completely honest, I don't need access to it. I don't need all these roses. There's a reason I'm just kind of letting things grow at this point. I'm just trying to have like a little bit of fun with it. So everybody's going to have a little bit of candy either outside of their house or near their house, just because I wanted to make it look like there was a little bit of trick-or-treating going on everywhere. So this is, of course, up here, Kat's house. If you don't know what Kat's house looks like, that is Kat's house. She's not home right now, otherwise we'd go visit. But once you jump over here, so this is just a little jump, because of course we're limited in the amount of bridges and inclines we can have, which shocked most of us, I would say. If you come up here, you're going to see the library. Now, one thing you're going to want to look for throughout the island is hidden dolls. I hate dolls. They are the one thing in life that I find the most terrifying. So if you are like me and you hate dolls, keep an eye out for the dolls, because this is a spooky island for you. Yes, dolls are spooky. So we're going to go ahead and visit the library real quick. So this is officially the Hope Cove Library. Of course, yet another home that I'm using as a place for someone to go ahead and visit more as a community space rather than just a person's home. So this is like the little checkout desk. I've got some different stuff going on in here. We've got the fireplace, we've got the big chair, all kinds of different stuff. I'm using a lot of the partitions in here. I'm trying my best to kind of make it look like classy, more, I would say more of an old-fashioned library. This isn't obviously what the library in my town looks like. In fact, I don't know that I know what the library in my town looks like. I don't know if I've ever even been to it the more I think about it. But, you know, a lot of them are more white and open and full of, you know, books on metal shelves kind of things. But I wanted this to kind of have that like loungy library feel. So that's what I went for in here. Lots of bookcases in here. So of course I'm using a lot of the DIY recipes. I'm using those leather couches because they just kind of match with the aesthetic. Now you'll see that pattern that is on the dividers there on the partition walls. That was reused down at the beach as well. So you'll kind of see that again. I tried to find something that would work in both spots. And I think it works at least for me. I mean, I kind of like the way it turned out. I like these little spaces though, because you can just kind of like come and hang out, chill out and pretend you're reading a book. The other thing I like about these spaces is that once they're created, they're really good for photo shoots. And maybe this is just a secret onto how I live my life. Granted, I am currently building a photo studio in my house for my dog. When I say that, it sounds so much more impressive than it really is. But I like the idea of having like a photo space where I can go and take my character and we can, you know, do little pictures. Maybe of her like hanging out with the books or something like that. You know, just something fun. So here we have a study space, and I was kind of thinking like college library. This is kind of like where I would hang out when I was in school. I did a lot of the fireplaces just because I really like the way the fireplaces look, and I really thought that would be kind of a cool idea to have the fireplaces in there. And I love the moon rug. I know it doesn't necessarily fit with the, I guess it doesn't fit with the aesthetic 100%, but in my mind, maybe they're learning about space. You know, the only place that isn't corrupted by capitalism. So you never know. I figured it made sense to have a little bit of a moon rug in there. You'll notice I tried to keep the things on the walls to a minimum just because the walls are supposed to be books. I thought it looked kind of weird when I put things on the walls, but I didn't want to make them completely barren. So every once in a while you'll see something up there. So those are the first two rooms, and then you'll notice something very different about the third room. So every library I've ever been in has a children's book reading area or like a children's nook, and that's always very different. It's very colorful, it's very bright, it's very happy, and this for us is the children's nook. So I've got the cute little sofa in there, I've got the cute lamp, we've got mom's cushion, mom's plushie, and all of the bears I've ever owned on the island. I find these bears creepy because I am convinced that there's somebody inside of them, perhaps the FBI, listening in on everything my villagers are doing. But they do make a pretty cool look for in here. And the way I see this is that you could take your kid's book, come in here, you can read it, hang out with all of your big teddy bear friends, or maybe you could go sit in the teddy bear's lap. Just kind of depends on what you're looking for. So that was the idea here with the library, kind of having a children's nook. So as we leave here, that's going to be it for the library. The library is just one level. I didn't do the basement or the upstairs in the library. I tried to keep my extra houses to a minimum. You'll see that as we go through. The library is the most complicated one I have. So before we leave this space entirely, let's go ahead and jump over here. You're going to notice that I have just kind of some random little areas here. Just some random like cliffs. I just wanted to do this and add flowers to them just to make something that was kind of cool and a little bit different. It just gave me an option to have, you know, like a partition that kind of sectioned off this part of the island from the other parts. I was looking more to create boundaries this time and create specific feelings of sections of the island rather than just having the island be one cohesive piece. Alright, so now we're going to go down here. This used to be my orchard. If you ever watched the original video, this was the orchard. And now that we come through here, you'll see that a lot of the orchard trees are still here. I no longer have a specific orchard though. I decided to get rid of the orchard in favor of what you'll see is coming up here. So we have our little kind of beach area, and this is just a hangout area. Now, one thing I'm doing is I'm actually leaving some of the beaches sparse right now because I have some other ideas, but I want to wait and see what we're coming up with as far as updates. Rumor has it we're getting the coffee shop, we're also maybe getting some other stuff, so I don't want to do too much and then have to tear it all down and get too attached to it. Also right here, you're going to notice I don't have a ton of pumpkins in here. Instead, I just have a couple trees. That's because I know farming is coming. It's something that people have been talking about. I'm pretty convinced it's coming. So I'm going to leave this space for farming. I'm probably going to want to put more than just this for farming later on, but I figured it would be kind of a nice little cute space, at least in this area. So right now, this is just my little farming area. You'll see I've kind of got like a little theme going here, and then we've got, of course, our trees. But I did go ahead and get rid of this area being just an orchard. so I could give it to my museum. And I like this better than what I had before, honestly. My museum used to be elevated, and it used to be more in the area now that I have water, but I like this better. I keep talking with my hands as if you guys could see me. I like this better because it kind of gives a little bit more of a special feeling to the museum. It is special to come and visit it. If you kind of look down from the arch and we kind of look up, it looks like we're actually going straight into it. You know, it has this feeling of being something special. I have one fossil outside, but the one thing that I did build, and this is very much against my own personal, what do I want to say? My own personal ethos. I hate hedge mazes. I saw The Shining at far too young of an age, and I find hedge mazes to be the most terrifying thing in the world because of it. Because every one has Jack Nicholson in it. You just don't know it. So, as far as I am concerned, oh, that is my dog. Sorry about that, guys. So, kind of the idea with the hedge maze was just to build something a little bit spooky that was a little bit different, but also a little bit fun. I feel like museums usually have like hedge mazes and things like that, or at least they did when I was a kid. Little things like that that just are kind of curiosities or are kind of interesting. Although outside of every hedge maze, of course, there is your Jack Nicholson. So, we're going to go ahead and leave the hedge maze now so I don't have to be scared and come over here to what I like to call my Rodent Island. This is where both Peanut and Callie live. We can go ahead and come over here. Peanut has a nice fake statue here. Now, I did buy the statue knowing it was fake. I'm going to be honest, sometimes I buy fake art on purpose just because I think they're funnier than the real art. And I like to put them around the island. You'll see some of that later on. And then I went ahead and put Callie over here. She has a nice tree. And of course we have the pink balloons because I love pink. It is my favorite color. Just for fun, let's go ahead and visit one of my favorite villagers. I can't tell you enough how much I love having Peanut and Callie and how much... Oh, I think she's actually going to give me candy. Haunted Dude. Isn't she the greatest? She's like the great. I'm sorry, she's the greatest. Other than Maple. Okay, so Maple has taken my heart. But look how cute this house is! Okay, anyway, sorry. I'm very excited. I love her. So, this is kind of my little Rodent Island. I love having those two here. I just thought this was kind of a cute little way to kind of put them off to the side. It's not that I wanted to hide them or anything. Let's be honest. It's that I had all this space here and I was like, I need more like division between all of my critters. And I'm so excited to have them here. Okay, so this is one of my newest, I should say this is one of my newest villagers, but I did not invite him to the island. He moved in on his own. I found out recently, and I feel very stupid about this, that you need to have villagers of all kinds in order to learn all of the emotes. And now I have to go through, and my feminist collective needs to have some men on it just so I can learn the emotes. And then we'll get rid of them and go back to being a feminist collective. Women only. Except for Dom. He's allowed. Anyway, so if you're wondering why I suddenly have new villagers after I said that I had my perfect villagers, that's why, and I'm hurt about it. So we do have a small waterfall behind the museum. You wouldn't notice it unless you were me who built the waterfall behind the museum. And I built it there because at first I wasn't going to put the museum there. I was going to put something else there, but now I love it and I won't let it go because it has a dinosaur on it. I love dinosaurs. So this little path, I absolutely love it. I went ahead and kept this kind of mostly natural. I like having natural areas. This is where I used to have Callie and Peanut's houses, and it was just too small of a strip of land to have it here. I didn't really like that idea. So what I did is I went ahead and changed it, and then I left Poppy's house back here so that we could go ahead and kind of keep Poppy off on her own so that she actually had room. So it looks like, okay, she's actually, having her own space. Not that I didn't want to include her on Rodent Island, I absolutely did. But I figured we kind of have to, do what we can. Ooh, another spooky rug. I'll be honest, if you just keep giving them stuff, yes, I taught her to say bish. If you keep giving them stuff, they will just keep giving you the same items. And I love it because now I have so many spooky rugs. So I really like this. I feel like it's got a little bit of like a country vibe to it, and that's what I was going for. I feel like Poppy has a very You know, she's got a very like, ooh, cutesy, like country cottagey vibe. So I wanted her to kind of be off in like a little bit of that little area for me. Whereas Audie is totally different. This is Audie's house, and I feel like she's a little bit more of like a cool, she's a little bit more young, she's a little bit more like, oh, I'm, you know, kind of trendy and hipstery. So Audie lives up here. She is kind of looking down, checking out all of the town. She's got her own little pool. She also lives next to a waterfall. I mean, who doesn't want to live next to a waterfall? And she has a cool outdoor lava lamp because that's just awesome. Also, she has a waterfall behind her house because I like waterfalls. You'll notice I kind of abuse waterfalls. All right, we're gonna go ahead and come down here. First, we'll come over here. Now, this was supposed to be my music island, and this was like my little area where I had my two like big pop stars that lived. And I really liked it being kind of like, oh, pop star island. But this is where I kind of had some issues with different people, you know, having different villagers. So I'm always going to keep Nibbles wherever there is music stuff. Again, I have a lot of rodents on my island. I know. I love squirrels. So I've got Nibbles here. She's, you know, all into the pop star life. And I used to have, gosh, I think it was Bangle lived down here. Yes, it was Bangle lived down here. And she was also all about being a pop star. So Bangle used to live down here, and it was great. They were down here, they were hanging out, they had music, stuff all over the place. You'll notice I have instruments everywhere so they could go ahead and rock out. But then I let Bangle leave so that we can move in Cyrano. I think that's how you say his name. Just so I could get the cranky villager emotes. Alright, so eventually that will be another, you know, like peppy pop star villager will be living down there. Alright, so up here is my rock garden. So lots of people did the rock garden where they just built like a pattern and they went ahead and just did the pattern there. I didn't like that. So I wanted to go ahead and build a rock garden that was a little bit more specific and a little bit more fit my vibe. So I went ahead and built my rock garden here, and I did kind of a way that they were kind of patchy, and then as the rocks actually got moved here is when I went ahead and built around it. So I actually didn't kind of do the whole island thing where you move it around and you place something all over the island or whatever. Instead, I went ahead and built all of the places on the island, and then I waited for the rocks to come here, which it actually worked out really well. If you see here, I went ahead and built something against each rock so I don't have to make the hole. If you guys aren't making a hole behind you or using a solid thing behind you every time you hit your rocks, you're really missing out because you're not getting, you know, all of your ability to hit the rocks. So I went ahead and put something with a back on every single one of these. This is why these two bushes are here. And this just turned out perfect. All of my rocks showed up here, all 6 of them. Eventually, it took a long time. I had to keep breaking the rocks on the island, but they all came up here. And then I got them in the perfect spots in here, and then I built around them. So I really like the way this turned out. I went ahead and put my fountain up here just so it was like a little seated spot. And I really like the way it looks. I just think it's really cute. And if you remember from my other video, I used to have right here a set of stairs. That set of stairs is gone because, let's be honest, there's not enough inclines in the world. So now, if you want to get up to that area that I showed you guys before that had my dock, I still have my fishing dock, but you do have to jump to get up there, and that's fine because I'm the only one who ever used it. I never saw a villager up here, so now I just have to jump and use, of course, my ladder to get up and down here, and I don't really see a problem with that. When I put my dream address up, I'm going to try and remember to put a ladder out at my dream address. Remember that if you don't have inclines everywhere, you're going to need to put those out for people. Alright, so let's get rid of that, and let's continue on. You'll notice down here is just like some random flowers. There's nothing down there right now, it's just flowers, and the reason there's nothing there, if you look on the map, there's not a ton of space right in that little area, but that's just enough space that if I wanted to, I could carve out a little extra space and put something in there, and I'm not sure what we're going to have in future updates, so I'm kind of working on that still. So this is another little spooky area, but this is actually where my house is. So this is where my humble abode is, and you'll notice that there is the mushroom wreath on my door, which indicates that I have time traveled into November. If you're curious about where that came from, yes, I've been to November, and it is beautiful. That's also how I got the red leaf piles, in case anyone's wondering. I'm pro time travel. Now here's where all my pumpkins are. So if you were kind of wondering, where are your pumpkins? You said they weren't down there. All up here. This is also where I'm going to have, I would say, the bulk of my farming eventually. This isn't going to stay pumpkins. It's pumpkins right now just because I wanted it to look spooky for the holiday. I think it's kind of cool. But once we have some form of farming, I intend on taking out most of the pumpkins here, and then my plan is to kind of have a mix of farming stuff, assuming we finally get that here in the game. Here we just have some flowers. This again is one of those areas where I stuck flowers in here because I'm actually holding it for potentially something else later on. I don't know what's going to come later on, and I want to make sure that I'm kind of prepared with some blank areas that I'm not super tied to, so I can go ahead and put something in later on. You'll notice this has a lot of flowers here too. This is a little different though. I did this on purpose. I wanted this to be kind of a super flowery area and to feel like it's kind of woodsy. This is around my campsite, so I wanted it to have that woodsy feel. And we'll go ahead and go up the campsite now. The campsite is still off on its own. It's going to be kind of a little bit special. It is pretty dense in here. I did that on purpose. I wanted it to feel very overgrown. I decided to go ahead and make it pretty difficult, to navigate just because I don't come up here very often. Definitely it could have been something that I put less stuff up here. I definitely was very, very into crowding this area. But I kind of like the way it turned out when it's a little bit more crowded. I think it's a little bit more fun to have a crowded campsite. But definitely it is a little bit harder for me to kind of traverse. You'll notice that. I bring that up because I've mentioned that on a couple of the islands I've been visiting, that sometimes it's difficult to get around. And this is definitely my area that's difficult to get around. Alright, so what we're going to do is we are going to head down, but just for this video, because this is our spooky video, we're going to go ahead and head inside just the one room of my house. We're going to go into just my main room. It's the only room I have spookified for the holiday, which of course is Halloween. And I did use the Halloween paper, the Halloween flooring, and the Halloween rug. And I have to be honest, I really like the way this looks. It is so cute. I mean, I can't wait to change it for Christmas, let's be honest, but I really like the way this turned out. I think it looks really, really cute in here. It's actually a really nice paper, and I know I've mentioned that probably to a bunch of you if you've just talked to me randomly and I'm like, oh my god, have you seen the Halloween paper? I love it. It's so cute. I'm so into it right now. So it's the only room in my house we're gonna visit because I'm not done with my remodel yet. That's kind of a teaser, I guess, for the remodel I'm doing. That's my new living room. I will be changing out that wallpaper though as soon as the holiday is over because I have a whole new look that we are going for. So let's go ahead and go down, and then we will run into another villager's house. This is Eloise's house. I only have Eloise on the island right now. She's snooty because I needed her reactions. I just got her final reaction, so she will be moving out fairly soon in favor of another villager I need, which I think I have all the jock villager. I have I'm working on Cranky, so I think I need lazy villager. So I'm gonna have to bring in a lazy villager. So here we have Maple's house back here, and then we have Fauna's house, and again just tried to do something kind of cute, bring in a little bit of the feeling of them having like lots of flowers. I had a feeling that Fauna would be kind of like into it being cute. I have the little journal. If you want to decorate with the journals that you can find, the lost items, all you have to do is keep it for a day, keep it for more than 24 hours, and then after that you notice it says, what was this again? If you want to just keep it at that point, you can just set it on something, and I find it's just a really cute way to decorate. Alright, so we're not going to go over here, although we will eventually. We're actually going to go over this way. And the first thing we're going to run into is another house. You'll notice this is yet another one of my extra people who live here on the island. And this is my arcade. Now, it's actually called the Artcade, but I didn't want to make a new sign. So We're going to call it the arcade. And you can come in here, and this is just like our little arcade play area. And I have to admit, I love it. This is where I buy a lot of the fake art just to display it, because I find some of it funny, and because I love the idea of a bunch of fake art being hung in an arcade. I just think it's funny. But I also wanted something that felt like kind of fun. You know, our villagers do a lot of hunting and fishing and, you know, stuff like that. And they're like out there, you know, looking for things, and they're constantly picking berries or, you know, whatever, cherries and stuff. I wanted them to have something just kind of fun to come and relate to. So here's the arcade where we can all go and hang out. I thought it was fun. So yet again, another use for a house that I'm not going to play that character, but I am going to use the house just for some fun. All right. So we have another creepy skeleton, and this is another Halloween item. You have to either fast travel, you either have to time travel up to Halloween or wait till the 31st to get that. Oh, and here's Fauna. Oh, look at her. She is so cute right now. Of course, you can have some candy, Fauna. You're adorable. I love that on her, it looks more like a dress. Oh, more spooky wall. I do love that spooky wall. She's so sweet. I love her. I do have two of the, oh gosh, what are the words? Gravestones. Oh my god, what am I doing? I do have 2 gravestones over here. Those are for Halloween. I will be taking those out afterwards. This is also another area that I've kind of left a little bit untouched, only because I have an idea for later on that I'm not going to spoil here. So I do have a spoiled turnip out here, so I can go ahead and catch ants. One of the cool things about having spoiled turnips, if you've never caught ants before and you haven't donated one yet, you can go ahead and catch them and donate them, but you need a spoiled turnip for that. So go ahead and buy a turnip. You can just buy a thing of 10 or whatever you want, as long as you have one on the ground, and then you can catch ants, and it's renewable. So every time you come back here, you are going to find more ants. That's the thing I like about it, so it's constantly renewable. So I have more ants all the time. So just so you can see, this is where we are. You can see in kind of the background there, we have that area, that bridge we just came over. We're actually going to go back over that bridge. I wanted to show you how this connects though. And I did keep all of my bridges on the island the same, as well as all my inclines. I just like it to have a cohesive look. I thought it was kind of cool. But here we kind of go into the second section, like the main section of the island. So here we're looking at, you know, this little area where I've got kind of just a seating area. This is another spot, again, where I can eventually put something else if I want to. Right now, I have my heart ponds, which I love the heart ponds. I've got a little playground here. See, my ants are already back. It's a great source of just like random income. Every time I go past, I just grab an ant. It's great. Yes, I still make little passive income like that. That's really not a lot of money, but it works. This little area here, again, I'm going to take this out once Halloween is over, and then this is going to actually become a bench area or a seating area. I like just having like these little areas that I can put stuff in for now, because later on I can go ahead and remove 1 or 2 of these heart-shaped ponds, and I can stick another building in here if I wanted to. Yet again, another little journal that got lost, or a book that got lost. Just sticking those things. Another hidden radio, so we can play KK Dirge or Dirge, whatever it is. I'm never going to get that right. I just wanted it to have some spooky music. Cat, you have already done this to me. Okay, we'll go ahead and do this quickly. I don't want to spoil what happens if you don't give them a treat, so I'm not going to do that here in this stream. In this video. If you want to see what happens if you don't, go ahead and watch anyone else. I'm sure people have posted it, but I don't want to, you know, suddenly give away what happens, because it is pretty cool. So we're going to go visit the very last of my extra, like, my extra people who live on this island. And this is going to be the diner. Now, this is called Gracie Bob's. You wouldn't know that from the outside, but you would know if you checked out the map, because the person who lives here's name is Gracie Bob. So we're going to go ahead and visit Gracie Bob's. Now, Gracie Bob, yep, has a cockroach. It's because I haven't been inside of Gracie Bob's in a really long time, so I apologize. I'm constantly renovating everything else on the island, and I'll admit admit I'm not constantly inside of these houses, so I apologize for the disgustingness that is cockroaches, because I find them disgusting. But this is the Gracie Bob Diner. Are we too surprised if they had some kind of bug infestation anyway? But this is my diner. I just wanted to do something that was kind of fun and silly and goofy. So these are the fish that are on the menu today. They're fresh caught. We've got a little bit of a diner kind of kitchen going on here. We've got the popcorn machine. There's a fortune cookie cart. We've got some different KK albums on the wall. It's just goofy. It doesn't necessarily it doesn't have a meaning necessarily. It's just a fun place to go and hang out, have a little bit of food. And I like the idea of, if I could play the game any way I wanted, I'd get all my villagers here and we'd all hang out and like have, you know, pizza night or something. It'd be really fun. So there we go. So it's Gracie Bob's. And believe it or not, we are almost done. I know this video has been pretty long. My village, or I should say my island, has really changed in the time that you guys have gotten to know it. Now here is the lighthouse. You guys know the lighthouse. You saw it before. It's in the same place. I did add a little bit more room though to that lighthouse area. Cat, we're not talking to you again. And I did put in just some random flowers. Again, that's another area that I could extend or I could retract and put something else there eventually. Just a little beachside area. I did add a couple little horses here just as like a plaything. I figure most diners have, you know, something for kids outside, so that's what I was going for. And as we come back over here, we're gonna realize that we are back at the plaza. So that's it. That's the whole island. I love the way this turned out. I hope that you guys liked it too. I was so inspired by all the different places I checked out. One thing I do want to mention before I leave here though, when I was a kid, there was something called penny horses, and they were outside of, well, they weren't always outside. Sometimes they were inside of supermarkets. And you'd put a penny in and you could ride the horse. And that's why I have the springy ride on here, because it's, for me, it's an ode to the penny horse of my childhood. So that's it, everybody. That is the island. That is the brand new Hope Cove. Let me know in the comments if you like it. Let me know what you do, what you don't. Let me know if you're inspired to create a new island yourself, or if there's things that you liked or things that you want to adopt on your own island. Or maybe there's something you saw and you were like, hey, that is a cool idea, but I'm going to do it this way. Let me know in the comments. I am all about sharing our Animal Crossing New Horizons tips. I think this is such a cool game, and I absolutely love it. So let me know in the comments what you're thinking. Otherwise, if you like this video, remember to like, comment, subscribe, do all the things. Happy Halloween, and of course, as always, if you want to go ahead and click on that picture of my big dumb face, that will subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Go ahead and click on that. You can also click on the bell icon. I almost forgot that word. Bell icon if you'd like to be notified every time I post a brand new video. There's also some random videos on your screen there. They should be about right over there. If you want to go ahead and click on one of those. And then also, if you'd like to, you can go ahead and support some of my patrons who do help keep this channel running. Please drop them a thank you. Tell them they're the greatest people in the world, because they are. If you're interested in becoming one, there is information there on the screen. Also in the comments down there. I don't like talking about it though, so we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Happy Halloween, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you in the next one. Hi, Maple! She's so cute.